Hello, hello, and welcome to the Continuity Report, powered by ohmtown.com. Today is May 19th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 20. This is a weekly show, so we take everything over the last week of time and we kind of distill it all down to 10 interesting articles. There's plenty of other articles over at ohmtown.com in the channel called the Continuity Report. What we also have to offer you is if you are in the chat, you can actually hit _ show notes and it'll automatically display all of the links that we're about to discuss. That way I can go through the show without pausing and putting stuff into the chat. Today we're going to be talking about Better If Released Later. How about Bosch Legacy Season 3? Chosen movies that flopped. Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Just Mufasa things, John Wick spinoffs, Dune prequel TV show, personality types of Disney princesses, Inception-like movies, and Agatha by any other name is a mistake. I'm Mayor Watt, and all around is the sentient AI keeping an eye on Mayor Watt and ohmTown.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to the Continuity Report.
And ohmTown, and everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so welcome. Boop. So yeah, we've got all 10 of our articles all lined up, ready to go. Let's get into it. The first article is in the Continuity Report, 8 movies. Oh, by the way, some of these articles that we talk about aren't necessarily in the channel at ohmtown.com called the Continuity Report. Depends on where the aggregator actually throws them. So 8 movies that would have been more successful if released 10 years later. The article is from Screen Rant, and we'll get to the actual source here in a minute, but we have this little snippet that gets acquired, and it says it's amazing to witness just how much the movie landscape has transformed itself over the past decade, and to imagine what movies would have been far more successful had they been released 10 years later. With cultural changes and technological advances constantly ongoing, the music sounds like somebody has taken a duck and just squeezes it. Anyway, many movies were released just a few short years before their time and could have resonated far more deeply with audiences had their release been delayed. This was a sad reality of being on the cutting edge, but it also meant that viewers could look back fondly at films that were underappreciated in their own time.
So I have 0 predictions for what's on this list, but I think the premise is intriguing.
Yeah, I can't think of any either, but they've distilled it down to 8. Stephen Holland in particular is the author of this. They don't have a deck statement, but they do have a summary, and they say Iron Giant deserved more love as a beautiful sci-fi story with deep themes. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was ahead of its time, with Edgar Wright's idiosyncratic style blending action and humor, and Office Space satire on corporate culture was released too early, gaining relevance after the 2009 recession. But all of these movies, I think, were fan favorites. So, more successful? Doubt it.
Right. I mean, they're basically making the point that they're ahead of their time, but that would presume that they weren't very well received.
Right. As far as I can count, I mean, everybody that I would have spoken to at the time, and the people who I speak to about this kind of stuff now, including people that are in ohmTown, probably would say that all of these are actually stupendous movies that were profitable then and still are being profitable now. And just a reminder, if you hit show notes, ! show notes in the chat, the bot Omatron will throw the articles into the chat and then pile on with a whole metric ton of snark about me flooding the channel with links. That's okay.
We need to install that sarcasm detector.
Yeah, actually, its detection is it throwing out an error saying stop flooding the channel. Whoops. Anyway, yeah, that's how this works. Living the dream, folks. So it says it's amazing to witness how much the movie landscape has transformed. But you have to be careful of cultural relativism, cultural temporology. If you sit there and think 10 years ago, something should exist today, it's inaccurate because it wouldn't have come into existence today. The timing wasn't
because
right.
it'd be too close to reality, right?
Depending
Particularly
on
if it's
what
in
it
like
is.
the sci-fi space or something. Yeah.
You know, if only, that kind of a thing. That just sounds like regret to me. But Iron Giant, it says directed by Brad Bird, was a beautiful science fiction story that did not get the love it deserved when it was released in 1999 as endearing tale of friendship tackling complex themes about identity loss and grief despite a star-studded voice cast featuring Jennifer Aniston and Vin Diesel. The Iron Giant was a box office
Is the
flop.
knockoff of Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, the cousin.
Or the body double or something.
Yeah, the body double. So it says it deserved to rank among the greatest kids movies of the 1990s. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that the Iron Giant, if it was a box office flop, it is notoriously a favorite of all of us that are out here in the technology landscape. Not everybody finds an affinity for a movie that has to do with an Iron Giant. But that is a movie that makes people cry. And it is quite a great movie. So the major factor in the failure of the Iron Giant was the lack of marketing and promotion. But if it doesn't have the budget, then it isn't something about 10 years later. It's a simple fact that they didn't do it.
Right. I didn't know this is the person who made Incredibles or Ratatouille. But
Yeah.
of course, Pixar was behind that.
Yeah, and so it says, as the directorial debut of Brad Bird, The Iron Giant was the filmmaker's first movie before he moved from Disney to Pixar. So what's interesting about that is Disney and Pixar are together now, and everything that has been produced has been amazing. So instead produced it, Bird had Bird hung on to Iron Giant and instead produced it as his follow-up to Ratatouille in the backing of Pixar, it certainly would have been a much larger success. Sadly, a major factor of the failure of Iron Giant was the lack of marketing. So that's an if this then that kind of a thing. But I guess, possibly the success would have been because of superior marketing. But
well, and of course they would have been willing to throw more money if he was already a proven success, right?
I think it's the other way around. The Incredibles and Ratatouille were famous because of the Iron Giant. So Scott Pilgrim versus the World, 2010, director Edgar Wright. And Scott Pilgrim versus the World has carved a unique place in pop culture and became a beloved cult classic, indeed, just like the Iron Giant. It says, however, Wright's idiosyncratic style was both a blessing and a curse, as the highly unusual Scott Pilgrim movie was difficult to market, as the studio seemed unusual. I
don't think that's the right word there.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same double take.
Seemed, what would they say? Something about, or suspect
unused
about
to
that?
or something?
Yeah, seemed, I don't know, something about which aspect of the genre bending film to focus on. Uncertain. There you go. That's the word. Uncertain. They seemed uncertain. And I would agree, because Scott Pilgrim is not a movie that you can sit there and you need marketing to actually sell this, because it doesn't make any freaking sense. Because even watching the movie, you're like, is this person like really enamored?
What is it?
Yeah. And I mean, it becomes obvious that he's interested in somebody, but he has to deal with basically. You have to go and watch it. I don't want to. I feel like I'm going to be talking to a lot of people that may not have actually seen it. So the irreverent and self-aware style of Scott Pilgrim was later utilized in box office smashes like Deadpool, which had similar fast-paced action, meta humor, and unconventional storytelling techniques. There's a Let's see, fast forward 10 years from the release of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and it no longer looked alienating. That's not true. You still wouldn't know what the hell Scott Pilgrim versus the World is about.
Well, maybe the audiences are not as advanced as the author is suggesting.
You know, how about re-release Scott Pilgrim versus the World in theaters and see, right? Because it's a whole 10 years later, it's a whole new audience that is going through their growing pains and trying to deal with their identity and coping with another person's identity as you have feelings for them and try and suss out what your status is with them and so on. We were just talking about Office Space. So
yes,
it's on the list. Number 6 is on the list here by Mike Judge. I don't really know where they're going to go with this because it says a satirical black comedy. I don't know about black comedy. I mean, was there dark humor in this?
I don't know if there was dark humor, but there were definitely some negative things that happened in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if that... Maybe I have a misunderstanding of the fundamentals of what black comedy is. So as a box office disappointment that barely broke even, which, yeah, I mean, this thing, when you look at it, you're like, this is kind of low budget.
But that's kind of the thing, right? It kind of fits the movie when you start watching it. But I can see why it wouldn't have been a draw, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't have been popular.
Office Space explored a group of weary workers who decided to steal from their software company and make their fortune in a story that espoused and exploited workers' right to exploit their employers. What? Espoused and exploited workers' right to exploit their employers? Yeah, okay. I get it. Okay. So had Office Space been released in 2009, it would have come right after the worldwide economic recession that saw countless employees left jobless and livelihoods of so many destroyed. But it actually had nothing to do with this kind of an environment. It was an economic
it was more
collapse.
like and I think Office Space is more about just the
oppressive nature
day-to-day
of employment.
and also the day-to-day annoyances of working in an office.
Oh yeah, cubicle farm, that kind of a thing. So it says the
TPT reports or whatever.
Yeah, TPS reports. Yeah.
TPS, thank you.
The funniest thing about that whole thing is that it's basically predicated on the idea of manipulating your mind so that you stop caring. Because what happens in this movie is he's trying to deal with his troubled personal life and the fact that he hates his job, and he goes and sees a hypnotherapist that dies.
I forgot about that part altogether, which I know is what kicks everything off.
Yeah, he just stops caring, about the crap. Yeah, and they don't even talk about it in this, I don't think, right? But that's really it. You basically have to, break out of that cycle somehow, So Children of Men, 2006, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, I think their name is. And so this one is a commercial flop that grossed just $70 million against a $76 million budget, if you account for movie accounting. They explored the themes of hope, faith, race, immigration, and it appeared to suffer from being too clever for its own good. As an action thriller released in 2006, audiences' attitudes towards the movies like this changed radically over the next 10 years. So I would probably say, yeah, this is probably one that could have benefited from waiting.
This might be the first one so far in the list, right?
Yeah. Later movies like Snowpiercer, Mad Max Fury Road, and Arrival addressed similar themes of philosophical questions as Children of Men and achieved mainstream success. But again, it's the writing of this that made Arrival such an amazing film.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's based on a short story.
Yeah, and the short story and the movie are not parallel. Like there are hints of it in the movie, but the short story, well, it's short, and a little bit more, a lot more concise than what the movie does. So the changes in social and political culture over the ensuing 10 years changed the nature of what we are going through. And so Children of Men would probably stand to land as divisive, and maybe its meme level marketing would draw greater attention to it. Nowadays, it might even provoke protests and whatnot. Other people, back then, nobody cared. Not to this degree. So Last Action Hero, and what I don't want to do is I don't want to go through all of these. So they talk about Last Action Hero, The Princess and the Frog, and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and then finally they end up talking about Watchmen. And I'll let y'all go and check this out. We talked about the first 5, so go and check it all out. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in the Warcrafters channel. Bosch Legacy Season 3. Will Harry Bosch join the dark side as Chandler becomes DA?
Well, wait a second. Is the dark side the criminal element, or is it like being a defense attorney?
Yeah. Bosch Legacy. It's over at Game Rant. Callum Murray is the author. They have highlights. They don't have a deck statement. Fans eagerly await Bosch Legacy Season 3, featuring a DA run by Chandler and potential tension with Bosch. Season 3 is set to blend elements from Connolly's books, involving a crossover with Renee Ballard's spinoff. Bosch appears to embrace the dark side as Chandler runs for DA, setting up a potential clash. But I'm not quite sure why.
I mean, those two clash quite frequently as it is. Yeah, they come from different backgrounds, and they used to be at odds with each other completely.
Yeah, and they both have baggage from, let's just say, past performance that might be haunting them. And you know what? I don't remember how Season 2 ended, so...
I don't think we've finished Season 2.
Yeah, Season 2 teased Chandler's intention to become the new district attorney, but there were issues there. Like... See, I feel like
I thought she was under investigation for something.
Yeah, and we never finished it. we bowed out. Yeah, see, we have to be so cagey about this because we don't want to spoil it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, see. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Anyway, y'all go and check it out. This is This is horrible.
We need the spoiler alert button for ourselves.
Yeah, I want to talk about it, but I don't want to ruin it. I want to draw attention to it, but I don't want to ruin it for people. Anyway,
but do you think it's fair that Season 2 is leading to that question about whether Bosch is going to the dark side?
Yeah, and oh well, I mean, whether
Chandler is.
Like, I'm not really sure. They seem like they're anti-heroes. They're doing really bad stuff while doing great good in the performance of the bad things. Right, for good
purposes, arguably. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so I think both Chandler and Bosch are running into that question in Season 2, at least.
And why does it have to be, at least for the heroes like this, why does it have to be black or white? Why can't it be gray? You know, they're the Robin Hoods of the show, right? They're stealing bread but feeding the hungry people. So I don't know. I love Bosch. Chandler is awesome. Honey Chandler is awesome. Great character.
Yeah, she was a hit. I think the first time she showed up on Bosch, like, you immediately had a strong reaction to her, which to me is a good character.
But you know who nobody's talking about? The reason the show exists.
Bosch?
Legacy.
Well, right.
Nobody's talking about the daughter being the cop. Talk about eclipsed.
I know, but it's like, it's almost just a vehicle to continue. I mean, Bosch was always the hit in Bosch, right? Not the daughter.
Yeah, and now Honey Chandler.
But you're right. That's the whole purpose of the show, but it's really focused. Well, season 2 was focused quite a bit on the daughter, at least at the beginning of the season. But yeah.
What I really want, oh my gosh, what I really want is I would love to have Castle and Bosch and Honey Chandler in the same universe.
Oh, that would be a neat show. I mean, because all of those are well acted and well scripted, I think. So.
And I keep Beckett. Beckett is the cop.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would work. Actually, that could work quite well. What if they did a crossover, although Castle, I guess, is no longer current, so that'd be tough.
Yeah, but he's awesome. Anyway, so despite having 8 movies that we thought were going to be hits but flopped at the box office, let me just jump right on over to Screen Rant. That's the source of this. Mary Castle put this article together for Screen Rant. Do you have any idea about movies that...
It's got to be like some, end of the line in a franchise, or it's like there's got to be a Marvel movie in here.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Oh, like the Ant-Man one or whatever.
Oh, goodness.
The last one.
Oh, right. Yeah. What was it? Like Ant-Man and Honeybee or something like that? Or it's Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then into
the other one, Quantumania.
Quantumania. Yeah, there. I was.
But I don't really know. How about you?
I was about to say multiverse, but anyway. So highly anticipated sequels like Wonder Woman 1984 can still flop due to lack of stakes and plot issues. That's just piss poor writing. The Matrix Resurrections failed to capture the magic of the original trilogy, feeling more like a ticket ploy. Yes. And Ghostbusters Answer the Call lacked original story, leading to audience disinterest despite great female cast. Is that the full name of the all-female Ghostbusters?
I've never seen that name before, but that's also a problem, right? Like, what were they doing with the marketing? I don't think that is the name. So,
8 movies that Screen Rant thought were going to be hits, and by we, I think they mean their audience as well, including us here in Hometown, to be hits, but flopped at the box office. So I'm going to run through these real quick. Wonder Woman 1984 made $170 million worldwide during its theatrical release. The Matrix Resurrections, it shouldn't be the Matrix Resurrections. It's like one line, but it's a segment. It's a section. It's a the Matrix.
You mean it should be like Matrix : Resurrections or whatever?
Yeah. It only made 160 million. I'm rounding up, by the way, to the nearest. What, 10 million?
Several $1 million.
I won't even go through the whole thing. Ghostbusters Answer the Call. That's it. Yeah, Ghostbusters Answer the Call. $230 million.
Which is interesting because when I Googled it, it doesn't even show Answer the Call. Like, I just did Ghostbusters female and it just shows Ghostbusters. So, like, that name was not very heavily utilized.
Yeah. And this one is blowback because people had a problem with an all-female cast. And that really just pissed me off because you're showing your colors, folks.
And there were some really funny people acting in this.
Yeah.
But I thought it had another problem, right? It like completely ignored its relationship with the original, which Correct. They could have been all over that.
And I think it's because there were estates here that didn't want anybody treading too close to original Ghostbusters. But really this whole thing, they had great personalities. I think the person that actually kind of ruined it for me, that dude.
Yeah, was he like he worked with their office or something? I don't know. I can't remember who that was.
Chris Hemsworth. Like, he was thrown in there for like guy good looks or something. I don't know. But I didn't like his acting. I thought that he was kind of he was playing somebody that was supposed to be kind of but the storyline made every male in the movie basically a bloomin' idiot that had zero awareness, except for the dude that delivered the wontons, the wonton soup.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's also a stupid move, because if you think about the original audience, I mean, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you need to appeal to everybody, and don't overtly just call every dude an idiot. But they call it out here. The movie failed not because of sexist backlash from the internet, but because it was a copy and paste reboot of the 1984 film, which it is and it isn't. It had a similar theme, but it had its unique take on it. Basically, the same thing was trying to be done, but in a different way. You know, breaking the barrier and bringing all of the ghosts out, and you know, and then not just after this, but Ghostbusters 2 was a version of this as well. So you might as well say that all of them all have the same schema.
Exactly. I think it was because of things like the sexist backlash and not owning the original.
I think so too. Yeah, and some bad writing. But then there's Blade Runner 1984. Blade Runner 2049. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the original Blade Runner in 2049. That made 260 million. You know, I really dig this show because I get to talk about movies that I want to go and watch again. I haven't watched Blade Runner 2049 in so long because I'm doing so many other things.
I thought this one was good, so I don't know why it was a bust.
Yeah, I thought it was great too. And it had Harrison Ford in it, and was basically like Bosch Legacy. I mean, you might as well. It was continuing a story that I thought was really great. Said it, however, much like its predecessor, didn't make much of a mark at the box office. I keep hiccuping and stuff. Blade Runner 2049 improves upon issues of Blade Runner and explores deeper themes about the nature of humanity and consciousness, not to mention its gorgeous visual style. I think that they need to do another. And I know that it's going to come across as kind of trope now because it's such a big highlight, but I think that they need to do a Blade Runner like 2079 or 2099, where it's sentient AI. It isn't just biological creations, but sentient AI. These are synthetic humans where...
That would be good. I think the market would be there to watch it.
Because we don't really know how they're created. We just know that they're created. They're biological. But what are these? Are these synths human, or are they a computer-born entity? You know, we really don't. At least they're called replicants, but they're synthetics. They're synthetic humans. And I just like the idea of it actually being kind of like AIs, given biological processes. So it would be neat to broach it from that angle. Anyway, sorry,
I was looking to see if they had any more coming up, but I don't see anything listed.
I don't remember the reboot of West Side Story 2021.
Oh, I don't know, but I was going to say Blade Runner. Amazon announced that there's going to be a sequel series.
Oh, so it's going to be on a series, huh? Interesting. So I didn't I didn't watch West Side Story 2021, so I couldn't really tell you, but that was 77 million. Black Adam.
Well, you know what? I suspect the problem with that one is it's probably a remake of the original, and you know,
that was niche.
In modern times, it's like, does that really have any significance or connection to anybody at this point? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it says, however, despite some of the dated aspects of the 1961 film, it's an iconic iteration with some of the best choreography of all time. But why? I mean, it's pulling it out of a vacuum. What was the impetus for it to be created in 1961 versus 2021? You know, they decided...
right, and I feel like it would look so tame by today's standards. Wasn't it like rival gangs or something? But now if you saw that, you'd be like, oh, but they're dancing. You know what I mean?
It's nothing like real life, right?
Right.
And it wasn't even then, but it has like zero affinity with life nowadays. It just happened to land in 1961 where everything was being, created, romanticized like that. Everybody wanted to wear a leather jacket and drive a fast car, and
right, that was coming off of the Grease success, right?
Yeah. So number 3 is Black Adam. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a DCEU thing. I don't know. DC just seems to be shit in the bed most of the time. And Babylon 2022 worldwide gross is 64 million. I'm rounding up a lot. So I don't even remember. It says after sweeping awards season with La La Land, Chazelle essentially had carte blanche as a Hollywood director and used this to make even more ambitious movies, and I guess that wasn't it. Faced ups and downs, the film marketing campaign has been attributed to its underperformance. I don't even remember seeing it. And then Steve Jobs. I never thought that the Steve Jobs movie would be spectacular.
I mean, why would anybody really want to see it? Even people that were fans of Apple or him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, what's the draw?
Yeah, the technical jargon and Sorkin at time inaccessible dialogue isolated audiences and spelled box office failure despite its critical accolades. It was critical accolades because of its foundation, Steve Jobs, right? Basically this marketing icon, and people thought they were genius or whatever, but I think Musk and Steve Jobs were, well, no, Steve Jobs was a lot more socially aware, but I
more
think,
like a regular person, but wealthy.
Yeah, but still kind of a scumbag because he tried to marginalize his relationship with the mother of his child, and
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and even though like name the computer after her, and like it's just really weird and complex, but a lot of people don't like him because of the way that he operated. Anyway, let's keep going. We're running really late. So the next article is over on the Warcrafters channel. 8 movies we want to see in Chris Pratt's proposed Nintendo cinematic universe. Now, I am looking past my bias because I don't really like Nintendo and the way that they treat content creators. So Kenneth Shepard over at Kotaku put this article together, and the deck statement says Mario actor Chris Pratt wants a shared Nintendo movie continuity. What might that look like? And they have this slideshow. So when we list all of the slides, 8 movies that they want Chris Pratt's Nintendo Cinematic Universe to have, and they want Star Fox and Fire Emblem and F-Zero and Animal Crossing, Punch-Out, The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, and Kid Icarus. Some of these are, let's just say, old IP that now Animal Crossing.
Well, that might explain. I've heard of Animal Crossing and Legend of Zelda and maybe Star Fox. Maybe.
So you've heard of Star Fox, but probably not in its full like extent. You've heard the name. But it says at school he meets his friends Falco and Slippy, and under the guidance of his teacher Peppy Hare, they undergo their training to become the titular Star Fox team. But can he overcome the pressures, internal and external, and save the galaxy from an incoming threat? Dun, dun, dun.
This reminds me of like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Because it is.
I mean, maybe I had that association because of Chris Pratt, but it seemed like the kind of similar storyline.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, it really is. So then there's Fire Emblem. I'll just show you the little things. Like this one is really old IP. F-Zero. If I recall correctly. So Sony was able to make Gran Turismo movie, a series about characters, into a live action film that did pretty all right for itself. So if Nintendo wants to get in on the toy car market, by putting out an F-Zero movie, they're even more primed for success. Kids love a racing movie.
Sure. That is true, but there's already Disney cars and Disney planes, and it's going to be hard to compete with that.
Yeah, but there's nothing left. There's nothing left in the tank. And they would have to have some seriously charismatic writing there. And I just don't see there anything left in that tank. Animal Crossing, on the other hand, people absolutely love Animal Crossing. So Nintendo's Life Simulator is probably better for an animated television series than it is a movie, but imagine it. A workplace comedy starring Tom Nook, Isabelle, and all the other villagers. Isabelle has already been compared to workplace comedy royalty, Parks and Recreation, Leslie Nope. And putting it all together, colorful characters, workplace documentary, etc. A Nintendo Animal Crossing The Office would probably be hilarious to watch, depending on if Nintendo would allow it to be as colorful as The Office was. So anyway, the rest of those y'all can go and check out. There's 4 more that you can all see. Sound good? Is it okay to keep on going?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in the continuity report. 10 most exciting things to expect from Mufasa, the Lion King. So, The Lion King is coming, and there's much to look forward to. The upcoming film is a sequel to the 2019 CGI remake of The Lion King, and it'll continue Simba's story while also filling audiences in on the wise King Mufasa's past. News of Mufasa the Lion King was no surprise since its predecessor brought in a whopping $1.7 billion at the global box office. Now the new movie looks like...
Wow, is that all?
Nah. I don't know. The budget was really high. So this is all CG. Interesting. So the article's over at screenrant.com. Angel Shaw is the author. Disney has raised the CGI photorealism bar with the upcoming sequel featuring more expressive characters and stunning sceneries. The eyes look like googly eyes.
Realistic if that's CGI. Well, yes.
And all of this looks like overdone HDR. I mean, it's just this high dynamic range. Like the oranges, the yellows are really popped high. So maybe it's just Screen Rant doing that, but it just says custom image by Yael and Chacon. So yeah, that's a little bit more. And even that looks computer generated. I'm going to mute it, hit play and mute it. Oh my God.
Or neither.
Oh no. Yeah, I have to mute all of that. Otherwise it's going to get clipped. So all of that CG. Yeah. What I really want are Disney Fairies stories to do this, like go ham on the CG and have better writing and stuff like that and build the world. There's so much potential there. Oh, hits him right in the eye. Then he starts cussing like crazy. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So anyway, for the podcast listeners, we were watching a little bit of the trailer for Mufasa, the Lion King trailer. Yeah, come on. Okay, whatever. So I suspend disbelief, but anyway, though Mufasa died in The Lion King, spoiler, Dumbledore dies too in The Lion King. His character served as the story's driving force. His wisdom was foundational to Simba's story, and the idea that the king lived on forever in his son and future descendants serve as a heartwarming theme that resonated with audiences of all ages. Still, a lot remained unsaid about who Mufasa was and who he had been before he was Simba's father. So those are the questions that they're going to be asking. So the new Lion King movie will go both forward and backward. Apparently it's going to show Scar in the relationship between Mufasa and Scar. Yeah.
Well, and it'll be a draw for kids because it shows a cute version of the lion because it's a younger lion.
Yeah, and Simba's, it says here, the trailer indicates that the mandrill Rafiki will narrate Mufasa's story, telling Simba's daughter, Kiara, all about the wise grandfather she never met. So there you go. Now you've got girls being interested in this. You've got parents wanting that type of storytelling because it's heartwarming and bonding the family together.
Plus, they'll all know Rafiki from the Lion Guard. Like, it's gonna pull everybody in.
Yep. Oh, I wonder. Oh, that'll be interesting. Just how much of the Lion Guard will be.
Well, since it's Simba's daughter, I think it's gonna be like the Lion Guard, at least in parts of it.
Oh, that's really interesting. Wow, good call. Interesting. So they talk about the this is a rundown, like a top 10. So they're talking about the graphics and features new music by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and the cast from 2019 is returning, so you're going to get the same voices. Mufasa's story will begin in a new setting. What? It reveals that Mufasa wasn't born in the Pride Lands?
I mean, it looks like the setting for like Ice Age or something.
Yeah, interesting. A young Rafiki. Mufasa and Sarabi's story will be further explored. That's interesting. Yeah, while Simba was gone, Scar mentioned that Sarabi had chosen Mufasa over him and offered her the chance to repair this quote-unquote mistake. Yeah, I told you that Scar was going to be more entrenched in this.
Right.
So Kiara will be featured, and somehow it says Mufasa will somehow become royalty in Mufasa the Lion King. Not sure how or why not, right?
Right, but it didn't start out that way, so something has to
occur,
change that, yeah.
And we can finally see the rivalry between Scar and Mufasa develop. So they say develop, so I wonder how much other world building is going on. Like, what are they going to do on the other side of this now, right?
Right.
Is this going to be the end of the story, or are they going to be able to continue it on? Because a lot of it has been about...
if they're smart, they'll continue it, right?
Yeah. What are they going to do, though? I mean...
I don't know. Oh, I guess they could do something with, like, Kiara as the focal point or something, but Kiara's not going to have the same draw as, like, Simba or Mufasa.
Or maybe not. Maybe they'll rise to the occasion, right? And kick everybody's ass. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Temporology. John Wick spinoff centered on Donnie Yen's Kane is in the works, and it seems like John Wick died, but is ever living on. This is from reactormag.com. Vanessa Armstrong is the author. And so, yeah,
that's a newer source for ohmTown, right?
Newish. Yeah, it's been around for several weeks now. There's no director attached to the film yet, but the project is scheduled to start production in Hong Kong sometime in 2025. Robert Askins, the Umbrella Academy, is currently writing the script. I don't know if I'm going to like that. According to THR, the spin-off appears to pick up with Kane after the events of John Wick 4, where he ended the movie free of the High Table's shackles. Working on John Wick 4, quote, was an extraordinary experience, Yen said in a statement. The reason these films resonate so deeply is because, like myself, Chad, and Thunder Road producers Basil Iwinick and Erica Lee push themselves to create action, fights, and stunts that are not only thrilling, inventive, and artistic, but also expressive of character, story, and emotion. Kane is an incredible character with a haunted past, and I'm excited to return to the role. Dun dun dun. But considering there's no director, who knows where this is going to end up.
Right. There's a lot of things that have to happen before we can see this.
Yep. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in Warcrafters. Dune's prequel TV show. Looks like it could actually live up to the movies. Oh, yes, please. It's over on Max, though. Dune Prophecy. There's an official trailer. Austin Goslin over at Polygon.com put the article together, and it says Dune Prophecy looks incredible. It is incredible. It's like the girl walking down the stairs, transforming from ugly duckling to beautiful swan, right? She and the parents look up, and the boyfriend coming, or the I guess the boyfriend coming to pick her up to the dance, and she's been transformed. She is beautiful, or he is beautiful for that sense, I guess. You know, have they ever flipped that? Has there ever been a time where it's like some derpy dude and nerdy and falling down the stairs, but then after a summer gets transformed? Have they ever done that? Other than Captain America?
Wasn't there a movie like that in the 80s?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Can't think of what it is.
So here's the Dune Prophecy trailer. I'm gonna have to jump forward. So it looks big. To me, it looks like it's gonna have the same type of level of special effects and try make the world building massive. Everything is larger than life. It's almost like a Game of Thrones style, like scale, huge. Dun dun dun. So it seems like it's going to be a fun, epic television show, but it's on Max, so Denis Villeneuve's massive movies, and this, maybe it'll match up. I don't know. Oh, a little risque there.
Well, and who's going to be in it? Like, are there going to be any people connected to the movies, for instance, or is it all going to be a new cast?
As far as I know, it's all new. Like, everybody is new. Yeah, as far as I know. So I don't know how they're going to play all of this. It just seems like it's not going to be able to be the same. Oh, they even mentioned Game of Thrones. And since this show is on Max, at least it's a little hard not to think of this as Game of Thrones in space, which I hope they don't ruin Dune for me, because they ruined Game of Thrones by that stupid ending. Anyway. So the new series is set 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides and will follow the early days of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood as it attempts to dig its claws into the social fabric of the galaxy. So 10,000 years prior to the Dune series.
Well, that explains why it's a different cast.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I didn't know it was that far back.
But in that day and age, you could probably have family lines that are so closely tied together that you could probably see, oh, it's this, Paul Atreides, but not Paul Atreides. It's the predecessor,
right?
The great grandparent of 10,000 years, though. It's a completely different universe. But I hope that they go beyond just the same families, Harkonnens and Atreides. I want to know about all the other houses that are out there. And there are several other houses and planets, like Giedi Prime is one of the houses, great houses. But Ix is out there as well. And several others. Like, I want to know about my brain just went blank. I want to know more about Folding Space and the Guild, the Spacing Guild, and all of that. You never really, all of the movies barely touch on that, The Navigators are fascinating to me because all of these weird species that you think, or weird races that you think, they're all human.
Right, even though you don't think they might be.
Yeah, like the Harkonnens are human. They're not some alien race. They've just evolved that particular way because it's 10,000 years of evolution and genetic modification and manipulation by the Bene Gesserit and so on and so forth. And you find out something very interesting in the movies if you've never read the books. So, yeah. So that's all there is to it. So let's keep going. The next article is over in the continuity report as well. Myers-Briggs personality types of Disney princesses.
I hope we're going to see more of these.
Yeah, this is the second in the series. Last weekend, we did the personality types of what? What was it?
Superheroes. Or like
yeah.
MCU. Yeah.
Mostly the MCU. There was like one DC superhero in there, Batman or something. So these are all Disney princesses, according to the MBTI. So it's a personality type of the Disney princesses, offers insights into their character development. The problem is, though, unless the creators of these Disney princesses filled out the MBTI, it's somebody else's perception of what their choices would be.
Right.
And so you can actually go and take like a little baby MBTI, because it's actually a test that you can take and get analyzed. It gets assessed. There's 16 types, depending on that, define how you are, either introvert or extrovert, or if you're a risk taker or not, and all of this other stuff. But anyway, let's see. Raya from Raya and the Last Dragon is ESFJ. So comprehensive and capable in their duties, ESFJs strive for harmony, making this the perfect type for Raya, whose movie sees her journeying to reunite the people of her homeland, making new and important connections along the way. The friends we've made along the way. Raya is one who will eventually recognize the good and bad in others and make the best decision possible to lift everyone up. That's so positive. Megara from Hercules, ISTP. I don't think I've seen an ISTP in this. So,
well, remember when we were talking about the superheroes, we think most of them are going to be extroverts. These.
Yeah. Wait, this one up here was ES.
Was an E.
Yeah. This one is I, right out of the gate. She has lots of kindness within, though mega cynical at times. She's also intelligent and quick thinking. I guess you have to watch Hercules. I haven't seen that in a long time. So, known to some as a virtuoso, the ISTP trait is also one that offers up an observant and thinking Disney princess, which fits Megara perfectly. Also, as an introverted type, it is obvious why she keeps mostly to herself, other than the fact that she has a dark secret she's hiding from everyone around her throughout the movie. Dun dun dun. Esmeralda from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, ISFP. If they categorize all of these princesses as introverted, I'm going to be a little...
Well, I'm guessing they're going to have about half, because they're probably trying to fill out all the different types.
All right. So ISFP is a personality trait that indicates an open mind, which is one big reason she has no problem going against the grain of society and doing what she knows is right. She wants to live in a world where everyone, and not just herself, can live in a world without judgment and live how they see fit. Personality. So it says this is the perfect MBTI Disney princess personality trait for this brave and courageous woman. I wonder what Disney thinks of this.
Yeah, I don't know. Same thing for Marvel with the other article.
See, but like Marvel, I don't think would like really care. Disney, though, they're like, we don't want you interpreting our characters.
Right. This is our IP. Yeah.
Yeah, don't try to characterize, psychoanalyze, or frame our characters in any other way than. But hey, Kidda from Atlantis, the Lost Empire, they're a Disney princess. I didn't know that. Underrated Disney.
I've never even heard of that movie.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it. Skilled linguist and excellent leadership abilities. So ENTP is more independent thinker and has no problem making decisions, even if it causes danger or creates controversy. All right. Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, INFP. There's another one. Obvious. Let's see. It's clear through this Disney princess's personality traits that she possesses great empathy, which is obvious in her love of all animals, great and small. INFP, huh? Is there more?
I mean, it'd be hard for her to be E because she's asleep.
The fact that they love her back shows how close she lives She lives in the world, which is a strong INFP trait. This is also a liability because Aurora's trust and inner beauty tragically caused her to fall for the curse, which she never saw coming. But in the end, like all INFP individuals, she won't pretend to be someone she is not. Ariel, the Little Mermaid, ENFP. Yeah, she wanted to go onto land and find her beau, and she was like all up in his grill. Hey, baby, what's up? No?
I don't think that was the dialogue.
Oh, really?
From The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. One of her main personality traits is her zest for life, and she's attracted to all things from the surface world. Especially that dude. Sure, take my voice and I'll take legs. Right on. So, I pose to the world, would you rather have a mermaid, would you rather have a merperson, mermaid or merman, that is top fish or bottom fish? All right, ponder. So she has big dreams and ambitions and is full of creativity, full of life. But what she really wants is that dude. So Ariel sees the magic in the world, and which is an ENFP trait. Although she doesn't see the magic in the world she lives in, she makes her a fringe ENFP character. However, these characters are driven to follow their imagination and belief in things they haven't experienced yet to explore the world, which turns out to be a curse and a blessing for this Disney princess. Yeah, her entire goal in the first movie was to seek out joy and happiness. Yeah, by going over to that dude. What? Am I wrong?
I haven't seen the movie in a long time. I don't even know what the theme of it was. I thought it was about her, but apparently not.
So number 10 is Moana. I'll just move on. Moana's empathy, intuition, and strong will. She's a shining example of ENFJ. Well, I guess I'm going to be sending the MBTI and to myself and to the sentient AI to see.
To see what kind of Disney princess we are.
Yeah. How many are on this list? Was there like
probably
20?
16, since there's 16 types.
Oh, really? Oh, wait. Look at you. Look at you. There are 16. Oh, there's one for every type. Is that what you said earlier?
Yes, which you ignored.
Wait, what was that?
I said what you ignored.
Sorry, I missed that, huh? Merida, y'all are gonna have to go on and look at the other last 8. The next article is over in Warcrafters. 10 movies like 10 movies like Inception that will bend your mind. Let's go on over to the source. The article's from IGN. Connor Shepard is the author. The deck statement says, "Are we still in a dream?" I don't know. The sentient AI is probably going, this show is a freaking nightmare.
No, it is not.
But I'll hurry. Shutter Island from 2010, Memento from 2000, Get Out from 2017. Let me tell you. Yes, Shutter Island from 2010 will mess with your head. Memento is a mind bender, but not the kind that will make you lose your mind. Get Out will freak you the hell out because there's one little teacup portion of the movie that was so freaking amazing that I gasped when that happened.
Oh, wow.
You could see the tension build up. You know it's coming. And then you hear it and you're like, holy crap. Anyway, Get Out, awesome movie. Definitely go see it. Source Code from 2011. I don't know, it's so much of a mind bender, but I don't think you've seen Source Code. We'll have to watch it.
I don't think so.
Successfully blending elements of sci-fi, thriller, action, and romance, Source Code comes out of left field to deliver an unexpectedly sensational film using state-of-the-art military technology and a top-secret operation to find the source of an explosion. Helicopter pilot Coulter Stevens is pushed into the mind of the recently deceased Sean Fentress, who died in a terrorist attack commuter train, highlighted by Gyllenhaal's charm and some fine directing. from Duncan Jones. There are a lot of great mind-bending moments to experience in the film with great acting to bring them home. Dun, dun, dun. So, yeah, we'll have to watch that.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything because we'll watch that. So, The Matrix from 1999, not mind-bending, really, at all. No, sorry. The Prestige, yes. Although, for me, I wasn't a big fan of The Prestige. I muddled my way through it. But it's a novel by Christopher Priest. The Prestige is a gritty period piece that brings a new edge to magicians in the Edwardian era. Two rival magicians set at odds about previous partnership gone awry. Actually, they compete for basically affection from somebody and an illusion, teleportation. It goes a little wacky and wonky. Donnie Darko 2001 is a cult film that people you'll have to watch it. It's a Gyllenhaal movie again. We'll have to watch Donnie Darko 2001. It's pretty epic. A visceral experience that is meant to pique interest and instill discomfort. After narrowly avoiding a freak accident at his home, Donnie Darko continues having night terrors and hallucinating a man in a rabbit suit telling him to cause havoc. Yeah. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is kind of a mind tweaker, but I found it kind of tedious. 2004, but it showed the scope of Jim Carrey.
That's true. This was probably one of the earlier movies where he wasn't doing his comedic bit.
Yeah, they want to remove the other person from their memory because of the heartache that it provokes. And the hilarity ensues. Fight Club from 1999. Butterfly Effect from 2004. Awesome movie. Horrible topics involved in it, so brace yourself. So Fight Club is interesting. Once you find out something, if you think about it, if you watch the movie, you won't realize it. But if you, afterward, you start doing a meta dive into what Fight Club was about, then you're like, oh, okay, it all makes sense now. Butterfly Effect from 2004. And that was the end of it. But I'm going to propose another one that will mess with your mind, but only after I tell you. The Three Amigos. After they eat the bat. Yeah. Do a search for that or watch the movie and then listen to my words again. Everything after the bat is something different than you think. And I'm not going to ruin it. You'll discover it on your own now. What happens to the Three Amigos after they eat the bat?
Very interesting.
Yep. And then the last article for today is over in the Continuity Report. Agatha gets final name change. Disney Plus release date has been set. So,
first of all, why did they have to do a name change at all?
So let's find out about that because I'm not sure what's really going on. I do and I don't. See, now what I wanted it to be called was Agatha, the House of Harkness. But that's not apparently what's going on. It's going to be called Agatha All Along. Which...
yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have the same oomph.
Yeah, and here's why. The reason why it's even called Agatha All Along is because in the other show, what was it called?
WandaVision.
WandaVision. Yeah, thank you. Right when you said it, I said it. So in WandaVision, they play... it's all kind of a scam. It's all been set up by Wanda to create a world that is under her control. Agatha Harkness is injected into this world basically took over a piece of it and controlled her own existence. Unknown, I guess, to Wanda, even though Wanda is like the most powerful MCU person. So Agatha is in this, and they play a song, Agatha All Along, when Agatha comes onto the screen. And at the end, she becomes, well, if you haven't watched it, then I'm spoilering it. But at the end, she actually gets permanently made into a character in this WandaVision world. Little like a compartment universe. Right?
Like whatever. I can't think of what it's called, like a splinter universe or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so
multiverse.
It's just like one part now of the multiverse, and she's stuck in it. That's what I ended up, right? Basically coming to the conclusion of at the end of WandaVision. So the spinoff has received several names: Agatha House of Harkness, Agatha Coven of Chaos, Agatha Darkhold Diaries, and then jokingly Agatha the Lying Witch with the Great Wardrobe title. But I think Agatha House of Harkness allows for a greater breadth of world building, because Agatha is a very, very old witch, but is like very powerful, probably at parity with Wanda, other than the Darkhold. The Darkhold is this spell book that has unlimited power and allows Wanda to be extremely powerful. And so they're going to call it Agatha All Along. Agatha All Along serves to spin off from WandaVision. It's going to premiere. Oh no, they don't say when it's going to premiere. It has a date.
It could be another year from now.
I thought that. Release date is September 18th. Oh. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, for the first 2 episodes, it's an 8-episode series officially now called Agatha All Along. But again, they talk about it here in the article. Everything that I said, they're talking about it here in the article. Kinda. It's a spinoff of WandaVision, premiered on Disney Plus in 2021. Catherine Hahn is reprising her role as Agatha Harkness in the series, while the cast also includes Aubrey Plaza and a bunch of other people. A forthcoming Disney series comes from head writer and director Jacques Schaefer, or Jack Schaefer, who also created WandaVision. So there's going to be continuity of the writing and stuff, and I think it'll be a great watch. But I think that it's not going to be as big and well received unless they do some amazing world building around Agatha Harkness, because she's got a history.
Right. Does it really seem like it was out in 2021? Doesn't it seem like it was farther back?
I think that the pandemic really messed with our sense of time. I wonder if there's research papers out about this, because
I mean, it really feels like a much longer period. That was only 2 years ago. Well, I guess now 3 years ago. So, yeah. To your point,
this is pretty wild. Yeah. So I dig Agatha Harkness. There's just something about that character that I find really interesting, because they were able to play a straight, normal person impacting things so subtly that you had no idea that they were Agatha Harkness on WandaVision. And now it makes me want to go back and look at WandaVision again to see if there's any clues that Agatha Harkness actually existed as something other than that character. Like, it was in WandaVision as a character in WandaVision, not Agatha Harkness. There has to be clues in there now, so maybe that's a little more meta than we thought.
Well, so maybe we'll have to do a rewatch in advance of the new show.
Yeah, well, we got time, September 18th. Okay, folks, well, I am casting a spell that's going to teleport us back to the welcome sign of ohmTown and the shop called the Continuity Report. So here we are again, and there's 47 shows now that are live, our channels, I should say, in ohmtown.com that aggregate content that will eventually become shows, and the Continuity Report is just one of them. We have 7 shows. Right after this one, in about 15 minutes, we will have Technology Today, and then after that will be 4-Wheel Tech. We're running a little bit behind in our hour-long shows because I'm doing this kind of stuff, but we'll get it done. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about each of these articles, but until next week, I'm signing out. We are signing out. I am Mayor Watt, and all around is the sentient AI from the future saying adios.
Good night. Thanks for joining us for the Continuity Report, and be back here shortly for Technology Today.
See you soon.